Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
And there you are. There you have it. We are back. We are live. We are brand new. It is Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond. Happy Tuesday morning, everyone. 256-576-4977. That's how you can join us this morning on the program. Oh boy. 256-576-4977 again. A lot of stuff to get through. Some high school basketball, throw in some college basketball. Throw in some NFL conversation. Just the ratings are out for the Super Bowl and a lot of college football conversation. We're going to try doing all of this in just 120 minutes. So the countdown is on for us to get everything going. One Drew DeArmond not in studio today, but in Jacksonville, as that's where we will be later this afternoon. Because Huntsville will be they'll actually be on the courts today because the regional play is getting underway in both Northwest and Northeast regionals. Now, the Northwest regional at Wallace State Huntsville, it will not get underway until tomorrow, and that'll start with the 7A and then 1A game. So tomorrow morning, Bob Jones, Vestavia Hills, 9 o'clock girls semifinal. That'll get everything going over at Wallace State Huntsville this morning at 9 a.m. at Jacksonville State. The Grissom girls will be on the court first at 9 a.m. That'll lead into the boys semifinal, which will see Grissom play Chelsea, which was kind of an interesting story. And then at noon, Sparkman girls will take on Chelsea. And then at 1:30, the 7A boys semifinal, Huntsville will take on Oak Mountain. 97.7 ESPN The Zone will have that game for you today at 1:30. And that is where one Drew DeArmond resides in Jacksonville this morning.
Scott, how you doing, man?
I am doing fine. I woke up this morning, let the dog out, and realized it was 35 degrees, and I was once again cold.
Well, I realized I had my charger, luckily, in the car, and I did not leave it back in Huntsville. Now, if I had been on the bus with Huntsville High, there's a chance I would have left it in the vehicle, which means my phone would probably likely be dead right now or about to go dead soon. But my charger was in the car, so I went downstairs to grab it, realized it was windy and in the 30s or 40s or however the hell it felt like, and had shorts on, and I nearly froze my butt off. But luckily, I had a hotel key to get me in the back door and to get some cereal. So I am thawing out right now, but feeling pretty good. Got this old school logo on my hat, just like the throwback uniforms Alabama's going to wear on Saturday. So I'm excited about that because hopefully I will be on press row Saturday for Alabama, Texas A&M. But as you said, we got a lot of high school basketball today. Going to be a big opportunity. You just mentioned the Grissom ladies that will be in just a little under 2 hours taking the floor. They've got a chance to get a big win today. And then, of course, Jack Doss's boys team against Chelsea. And Chelsea's a very interesting story because it goes to show you when postseason play starts, you never know because
they weren't supposed to be here.
No.
Neither was Oak Mountain.
Yeah, Oak Mountain and Chelsea. Oak Mountain will be Huntsville's opponent at 1:30, but Chelsea, they were the 3 and 4 seed. Chelsea the 4, Oak Mountain the 3. The 1 and 2 was Spain Park, who won the area for the first time in the regular season in 9 years. Spain Park was coming off 3 straight Final Fours under the coach Chris Latch, who you know very well.
Yeah.
Class man with a great program. And number 2 seed was Jeremy Monso from Parkway Christian in the past, who's a really good player, high school and college player. He's the head coach of the Hewitt Trustville. They were the 2 favorites, and yet they both go down. 44-39, I believe, was the score for the final score where Hewitt Trustville went down at Spain Park to Oak Mountain, and then Chelsea upset Spain Park 46-45, and then Chelsea carried it on by winning by 14 in the area championship game. And so it's crazy. But the 4 seed won the area tournament. The 3 seed finished as the runner up. And so now, for the second straight year, Huntsville did beat Oak Mountain in the Sweet 16 last year. Huntsville will be trying to do that back-to-back years. And the Grissom Tigers, for the first time under Coach Jack Doss, are in the regionals at Jacksonville State, and they will be taking on Chelsea at 10:30.
Once again, we will have the Huntsville High game for you at 1:30. So I'll see you later down there. I will be with One Tokyo Drift this morning, so hopefully.
Hey, there's nothing like waking up, Scott, and getting ready for a show and turning on your Zoom call, and the first commercial is Love Me Sexy. That'll wake you up in the morning, man. You know this is working then.
Oh, my goodness.
Right into a ditch, but hey, we were there.
If that gets your day going, oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. The day, Valentine's Day Eve with Scott Tyson.
Yes. After tomorrow, the roadways will be safe again because Valentine's Day will be over and we won't be able to love you sexy anymore. So
I don't know how you can top that one, Scott. I don't know what
can't.
You got the Town Heating and Air in your new commercial, but
we can't top
be
it.
Waiting with bated breath for that, or some kind of Irish. Are you going to do like an Irish skit or something?
I don't think there's no way. We can't top it. There's no way. We can't. There is no way. No way. No way. Let's go out to the phone lines real fast. Jeremy is with us out of the gates. Good morning, Jeremy.
Morning, Jeremy.
It's like a Titanic, but full of bears. That's the greatest. I don't ever stop. That's the movie that I do not turn away. Like, if it's on, I watch it every time. It's nonstop.
When we were thinking about ideas to do that, and that commercial was completely ad-lib. There was no script to it. Chad Guatney from Tom Abraham Show was in here helping with music, and he pulled this one up. And hey guys, what do you think about this? Uh-oh. And the music was there, and I was like, oh, let's just go with it. And at the end, all of a sudden, I just blurted, I just love me sexy. And I was like, I have no idea where it came from, but it was in the moment. And I was like, let's just go with it. And the guys from Talent Heating and Air were like, they were laughing. It was hard not to do the commercial because we were all laughing during it all. And they were like, love it. Let's go with it. And so there you go. It took on a life of its own.
Well, I mean, I thought first I heard it was one take. Then you said 3. I still think that's very impressive with how much you guys were laughing.
Yeah, we did it because, and it was 3 takes, but it was because I believe they were laughing, and then the phone number we messed up with the phone number, and it was stuff that didn't even affect the commercial. I don't know. Anyway, it was all good. We had a good time, and after tomorrow, if you have not heard it, sorry, it'll have to go away because it's not Valentine's Day anymore.
Well, there'll be a recording somewhere, just like with me falling on my ass trying to balance a beer on my head.
Yes, there you go.
Look, well, Scott, today's my birthday. You can just private message me that commercial.
Oh, happy birthday. There you go.
Okay.
There you go,
and
Jeremy.
I'll just be riding down the road listening to it, and people will be like, are you listening to a commercial? Yeah, I am. I do have a serious sports question for you guys, bro. I've noticed something, and I just I don't know what it is. Is college basketball back, as in viewership? Because it seemed like it had kind of slipped away a little bit, but it kind of seems like it's back because I hear more people talking about it. I mean, even with football going on, I was hearing more people talk about players, more people talking about teams. It just kind of seems like there's more eyes on college basketball.
There are, and I'll say this. After the Duke-North Carolina matchup, the first one that we had, I believe it was just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
It had 3.2 million viewers did that game. Now, it only trailed the Michigan State-Arizona Thanksgiving, which averaged north of 5 million viewers. The Tennessee-Kentucky game, by the way, is still one of the most watched basketball games of the season, and it hit at 2.5 million. So, to your point, yes, there are large numbers watching college basketball this season.
So could college basketball be the sport that takes NIL and says, hey, we're going to use it for good? Because maybe NIL may be used by some of these coaches to keep these kids from being one and done?
Well, I mean, potentially, Jeremy, but I still think, they did with Armando Bacot for North Carolina. I mean, he's turned into a 4-year college guy just because they can pay him NIL and he wouldn't be drafted. Or even the Zach Edey, who's probably going to be the 2-time player of the year. He came back to school because of NIL. He wasn't going to be drafted high. Like, he probably would have been drafted in the second round at some point. But he came back because he doesn't fit the modern NBA game because he's not a stretch 4 or a stretch 5. He's a 7-footer, an old school guy. He came back to school. I think Scott and I were talking about this the other day with Kansas, Hunter Dickinson.
Yeah.
Those kind of guys are coming back to school because they're not, prototypical NBA draft picks. Now, Mark Sears is not a prototypical guard because he's not 6'4", 6'5", and that's why he's back in school this year. And he has a COVID year, but he's had such a great year where he could be SEC Player of the Year. Will definitely be a first-team All-League pick that he may very well. And again, he'll have to make the decision, but my gut would tell me that he would go ahead and turn pro because he's striking while the iron's hot. And whether it's the NBA as a second rounder or as getting a 2-way contract with an organization that could fast track him like a Keon Ellis, who went in the latter stages of the second round from Alabama, or even getting as lucrative an overseas deal as you can get, he'll probably turn pro. Now, we'll see. What kind of NIL deal Alabama could potentially put together for him. But I think Alabama understands that Sears this will be his 4th year at college. He's had his best year yet. And that's probably why they're recruiting Mikael Brown, who could reclassify as a point guard. Because, again, these young men are trying to do what's best for their families. But as far as NIL and keeping guys in college, it's going to keep those guys that aren't freakish NBA, draft pick kind of guys in school. Like, I'll give an example. Our good friend who is a rising star in the broadcast profession who finally got a chance to be in studio this past week for SEC Network, Richard Hendricks.
Yeah.
In the past, people forget, he went pro after his true junior year and had already graduated in 3 years. Richard, very likely, he was a second-round pick, probably would have come back to school or at least given it serious thought with NIL money and played 4 years of college. But he had already graduated. Alabama's program was good, not as good as it is now, and he had a degree already, and he decided to go ahead and ply his trade because there wasn't a whole lot. I think he felt like in another year he would still be in the same spot draft-wise, and so around that same spot. So he decided to go ahead and turn pro, roll the dice, made a run at the NBA, and then went on to a lucrative decade-plus overseas. So those kind of guys, it probably helps you in college basketball.
And I see the lure of it for college basketball. I mean, because how many of these coaches? How many times did you hear Coach Cal complain about one and done, even though he's the king of one and done?
Right.
That hurt a lot. Kentucky we should be talking about the dynasty of Kentucky right now instead of them struggling. If they could have kept those guys for more than 1 year, because they were the ones that really, when you watched it, they were the ones that were getting hurt the most by one and done. But I mean, I like the idea. I've had my differences of opinion about NIL in the past, and I still do. Still have some, ideas of it that I don't like in college football. But in basketball, it seems like it could be something that could save the sport. and save it and get it and actually not get away from some stupid decision that was made years ago to allow these players to go 1 year and be done. And I think it helps because I'm a true fan of pure basketball at its purest form. And college basketball seems to be back to that aspect. NBA, they're so far past what basketball truly is that it's unwatchable to me. But college basketball, I sat down and I've watched 3 ball games this week. That's the most in a week that I've watched in years. And it's just because it's enjoyable to watch again.
Yes, it is. And I think, too, there's just been a lot of great matchups. Mm-hmm. I think, especially if you look in the SEC, we've had Tennessee, Alabama. We've had Tennessee, Kentucky. We've had Auburn, Alabama, not once but twice. There's just been a lot of good matchups this year in college basketball, and it's gotten a lot of people's attention.
Yeah, and Jeremy, with Alabama and Auburn both being good in the top 16 in the country, it's, for example, this week, Auburn, and we're going to talk to Brian Matthews about this in the second hour. Auburn's got maybe the biggest game of the week in the SEC on Wednesday as they're back at Neville Arena taking on South Carolina, who's the best story in the SEC right now at 21-3. So that's a top 15 matchup. Alabama, is in the SEC in first place with South Carolina, but has the tiebreaker due to the head-to-head win over the Gamecocks in Tuscaloosa earlier this season. So both Alabama and Auburn in state being really good helps as well because they're both having games that matter right now. Yeah. And Alabama's not playing till Saturday, but that Texas A&M game's a very interesting one because of what A&M did to the Vomits earlier this year. Days ago.
And there's a possibility that we get Alabama-Auburn Part 3 in the SEC tournament. I'm hoping we do because I really want to see that. I want to see that rubber match there between them two because everybody, Auburn got them that's this last game. But watching that ball game, they both went on like a 19-4 run. The problem was Alabama went on their 19-4 run a little bit too early.
Yeah.
And they just once they got hit, it just seemed like they couldn't come back in that second half. They couldn't find that same mojo that they had. But that you kind of can understand not being able to get back to yourself when you're playing at Auburn. Auburn's a tough place to play.
Yep.
And it's made it exciting. So SEC basketball to me has been great this year. It's been exciting, and college basketball in general has just been great. And I hope all this stupid crap that they're doing over there with the football side doesn't ruin all the stuff that they're building back over here on the basketball side.
All right, thanks for the phone call, Jeremy.
We're about to go on a break, Scott, but I was just going to say, remember, we did get a Chapter 3 at Alabama-Auburn just a few years ago when Colin Sexton was there.
That's right.
That tournament was in St. Louis. Alabama won the rubber match impressively, but John Rothstein tweeted it out after Auburn won. He said, dear college basketball, please allow us to have a rubber match in Nashville between Alabama and Auburn. Sincerely, America.
Yeah, that'd be good. Can you imagine that? I mean, Nashville would be Nashville's already crazy.
Yeah.
You keep Tennessee alive. Imagine the Final Four of the SEC basketball tournament with like a Tennessee, Kentucky, Alabama, and an Auburn.
Yeah, I just think about like Sonny Smith. We had Coach Smith on last week, Scott.
Yeah.
I believe in 1985, Auburn beat Alabama in the SEC tournament finals. And I was there for Alabama, Texas A&M, and it was packed with Alabama fans when Alabama won it last year. If it was Alabama and Auburn, with that short a drive for each fan base,
with Tennessee and Kentucky, because Kentucky always travels well. I mean, if they can make it that far, they always travel well. Anyway, hey, I make jokes about that, but I'll back it up here after the break because Kentucky's in action tonight. They got Ole Miss.
Big game. They've got to stop the bleeding.
They do, and they got some numbers and all that stuff. We'll talk more college basketball and college football when we return.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
First unit on the scene reports the car at 72 and Brock Road is not in the water. That is still reported as an injury type. They canceled Himsey on that wreck at James Record and Marcy Drive near Huntsville International. And we had a couple of wrecks trying to clear near Greenbrier, Highway 20 and Greenbrier Parkway, and 565 in Greenbrier Parkway. One of those reported as an injury type, but I think they canceled Himsey on it. No hose, no mask. You can ask Dr. Sandman, that's Dr. Sandlin, for the medically proven benefits of the Somnodent for sleep apnea and for snoring. Dr. Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Eck in the North Parkway, Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
It's time you discovered one of Huntsville's culinary gems, Good Company Cafe, the place for breakfast, lunch, brunch, and so much more. Bottomless coffee options, boxed lunch catering, pastries, and wedding and other special event catering. And with Valentine's Day coming, Good Company Cafe can help you impress your special someone with Valentine's brunch. Or you can order a brunch board to go with a bottle of wine for a special personalized picnic. Find out more and order online at goodcompany-cafe.com or stop by and see us at 7500 South Memorial Parkway.
If you're looking for a new couch, you could cut down on expenses by bundling your car and renter's insurance with Progressive. Because you know you've had this couch for too long. Sure, you've had good times together, but a ripped-up cushion is not a fond memory. It's a sign. Notice how other people have couches with 2 armrests? Now that's living, right? No, it's just normal. So bundle your renters and car insurance with Progressive and put the savings toward a new couch. Please, it's time. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Isn't the story of the prodigal son an amazing story? Basically, a rowdy boy who literally wished his father dead ran away and consumed his wealth with hard and fast living. Yet the father looked for his return every day, and when the boy got tired of eating pig slop, he decided to return. What did the father do? As soon as he saw that boy, he ran to him, threw his arms around him, and killed the fatted calf for a great celebration. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of the Cross Point Church. If you're looking for a church home, come see us, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison.
Welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you. And, okay, so it's interesting because we got to start turning our attention to, okay, which basketball teams across the country are legitimate, threats to start making a run. And we point out the fact that it's hard to win on the road at college in college basketball. Just ask Kansas that. Kansas got a huge win over the weekend against Baylor at Allen Fieldhouse on their home court. They go on the road last night and just get thumped by Texas Tech. They lose by 29 to Texas Tech. The same thing happened to Auburn. Auburn played really, really well against Alabama, goes on the road in the weekend, and just gets hammered by Florida on the road. Tonight in SEC play, this is what we're looking at. This is what we're up against. Vanderbilt is at home against Texas A&M. Texas A&M is a 9.5-point favorite on the road. I don't see Texas A&M slipping up against Vanderbilt, but they're coming off a ginormous win at home against Tennessee. Florida is at home with LSU. Florida is a 10.5-point favorite. Kentucky, this is the intriguing one to me. Kentucky is at home, 22nd ranked Kentucky, taking on Ole Miss. Kentucky is an 8.5-point favorite in this ballgame. Drew, when you look at the NCAA stats, just NCAA-wise, there are 351 Division I basketball teams. As far as defense goes, Kentucky is ranked 327th in the country in defense, in points allowed this year. They are ranked 327th. We are over halfway point in the season right now. How should we look at Kentucky right now?
I think we should look at them as about the 5th or 6th best team in the SEC. Now, that can change if they get Wagner, back, who's an outstanding player, no doubt about it. And I know they're completely healthy. Their front line isn't completely healthy either, but with the West Virginia transfer out as well. So they've got to get healthy first and foremost. But you are who you are right now, and they're not a very good defensive team. And so to me, they're an NCAA tournament team, but they'd be very, very shaky to get out of the second round, or I should say the round of 32, because I know they have the first 4 now, and then they have those round of 64 games, and then the round of 32. But I just say, I wouldn't count on Kentucky, even depending on what seed they end up getting. And right now, it would probably be around a 5, 6, or a 7. You're not even guaranteed in the first round to win,
right?
If you're Kentucky, because of their defensive deficiencies. Now, they have talent, which you can't coach. They have 4 or 5 NBA players, and they can score 100 points in a game, okay? They can outscore a lot of people. But the thing about it is, depending on your seed, Scott, and now the one thing about, Jeremy was talking about with college basketball's resurgence, we have seen 16 seeds and 15 seeds now. We've had 2 16 seeds win in the last few years, including last year over Purdue.
Yeah, and we didn't have one for the entire tournament until Virginia got bounced.
Yeah, by UMBC.
Yes.
So it had come close to happening a couple times, but never happened. But now that it's actually happened, there is nothing that's guaranteed. And don't forget, St. Peter's a couple of years ago beat Kentucky as a 15.
Well, Kentucky, we talk about that, and then the reason why we're bringing up Kentucky a lot is because they are playing tonight. They're playing Ole Miss. Ole Miss has been improved under Chris Beard, okay?
Right.
Ole Miss is capable of going on the road and winning because Kentucky has been vulnerable. Now, do I see them losing 4 in a row at Rupp Arena? Probably not. But March has been unkind to John Calipari, and the reason John Calipari's feeling a lot of heat from the Kentucky fan base right now. I think there's a lot of angst there. It's like you almost get a feeling like they would feel better if they didn't have John Calipari on the bench. Now, I think he's a great option, but there's a lot of people there that didn't. They have not won, and they have not made it to the second round of the NCAA tournament since 2019.
Yeah, that's just stunning, isn't it? With Kentucky.
With Kentucky, yes. Yes.
I mean, and they don't have Trey Mitchell, as I said, the West Virginia transfer right now. They don't have Wagner, who's an outstanding player, DJ Wagner. But again, with Kentucky and John Calipari's track record at UMass, Memphis, at both of those places, UMass, he went to the Final Four. Memphis, he played for the national championship. He won one in 2012 at Kentucky. But they're just right now having postseason struggles, relatively when it comes to UK, because they haven't made I don't think they've been to the Final Four since 2015, Scott, when they tried to make an undefeated run all the way to the national title, but fell a little short in the semifinals against Wisconsin. So again, it shows you there's a lot of parity in college basketball, which Jeremy was talking about, but it also shows you too how difficult it can be to win in this sport. And that's why last year when, there's people that was disappointed in Alabama because they were number 1 in the country, they were the number 1 overall seed and quote unquote only got to the Sweet 16. And how could you lose to San Diego State? Well, San Diego State played for the national championship, and Florida Atlantic nearly did.
Kentucky hasn't been in the finals of the SEC basketball tournament since 2018.
Yeah, there you go. It just goes to – I will say this, and Greg Sankey would like it.
Right.
You know what that shows to me, though? That shows to me how much the SEC has improved.
That is true. No, you're right.
It was considered the Kentucky Invitational in the SEC tournament. They were going – and even – and Calipari's never been a fan of it. You know that. He doesn't put a lot of emphasis on the SEC tournament. But, again, Florida and Kentucky under Billy Donovan, Florida the Gators, that is, they dominated the SEC tournament for many, many years when basically the SEC was down. But the SEC is not down anymore, and that is one of the leading legacies of Greg Sankey. Now, of course, he's expanded the conference, and football is a superpower. But another thing Greg Sankey has done is allow the SEC to have a resurgence in basketball.
All right, 7:30. Let's get a break in. 256-576-4977. You can join the program after the break. We'll flip in some college football conversation in here. We got some more college basketball to talk about. Let's get a break in. Let's pay some of the bills, and we'll continue the show when we return.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Plenty of sunshine this afternoon, though it is going to be on the cooler end of the spectrum. Temperatures only climbing into the lower 50s. We're going to drop into the low and mid-30s as we head into the overnight, early into your Wednesday morning. A mostly sunny sky Wednesday afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the upper 50s and lower 60s. A little more cloud cover for your Thursday, but it's going to be a beautiful afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the low 60s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a new wreck in Decatur now, Highway 20, just east of the Beltline. No injury reported, but that one does have some lane blockage. 72 East and Brock Road, that one reported with an injury. James Record and Marcy Drive reported with an injury, but they canceled Himsey on it. And we got a stall reported westbound on Governors near Doug Hill, maybe blocking up a traffic lane. Snelling can help you with accounting and office professionals for the new year. Snelling, how the area's best companies hire talent. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
The new favorite place for delicious Mexican food is Coralejos Mexican Grill in Huntsville. Check out their reviews on Facebook and you'll see what people are raving about. Enjoy drink specials all day Monday through Thursday, like house margaritas for $3.99 and 12-ounce drafts for $2. Even vegan-friendly entrees on Monday starting at $5. Coralejos Mexican Grill, 1658 Old Monrovia Road in Huntsville. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram to stay updated on their specials.
One of the best-kept golf secrets in the Tennessee Valley is Cherokee Ridge. Cherokee Ridge truly offers golf at a higher level with immaculate greens set against a spectacular Appalachian backdrop. This 18-hole championship course takes every advantage of rolling hills, whispering woods, lakes, and streams. Interested in becoming a member? Their membership plans feature affordable options for couples, families, and individuals. Book your tee time today, 256-841-4551. Cherokee Ridge. Championship quality, affordable prices.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time, or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve. and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. And the countdown continues towards the new college football season. 193 days, 3 hours, 24 minutes, and 17 seconds till
Hey,
week
that was
0.
impressive, man.
Huh?
That's impressive.
It is, isn't it? So, but spring football is just around the corner. And I got a kick out of this morning, and I think you will too, because it just shows you how ludicrous some of these preseason odds are. Because they've updated the Heisman odds, okay, for certain players around the country. And one of those was Jalen Milroe, okay? They updated Jalen Milroe's Heisman odds. Drew, this is crazy. They updated it because Ryan Grubb left to go back to the Seahawks.
Oh, I got you. So Ryan Grubb's the wizard behind the curtain, I guess.
Who didn't even coach him in a game.
Didn't coach him in a game, never coached a game at a practice at Alabama, but Alabama's done. I'm sure that LSU fans, Georgia fans, everybody else is saying, I've already seen some of the dumbass tweets and, and social media posts about how it's a sinking ship. Nobody wants to be in Tuscaloosa because even though they kicked the ever-loving snot out of LSU last year and they whipped Tennessee's ass for 16 out of 17, and they've got a lot of great players coming back, Scott, but Nick Saban, the boogeyman's gone, so it's a sinking ship. They're going back to the Sheila days. Wait till you get your ass whipped in the fall, guys. Just wait.
His odds were at 850. Plus 850 was Jalen Milroe's odds, okay? That would have put him in the top 3 for Heisman favorites. Because Ryan Grubb went to the Seahawks, not back to the Seahawks, because he went back to Seattle, this time with the Seahawks, his odds went to a plus 1,200.
Well, and I'll be honest with you. I just want to see, how he adapts to this new coaching staff.
Right.
So I wouldn't have had him on the short list of the Heisman right now. Now, if he really takes to it and he gets better as a passer with what he did last year, then he should be, on a Heisman, watch list, no question. But I can understand with the change in offense. Now, shifting it just because the offensive coordinator leaves, I mean, give me a damn break. The head coach is still there. It's not like this is a situation. I wonder if any Heisman odds ended for the Moneybag Ohio State Suckeyes because Bill O'Brien left without ever coaching a practice, and they brought in Chip Kelly. But because Chip Kelly's a big-time name who's had success as a head coach, it probably increased the Heisman odds for some of these fools at Ohio State. That's how stupid, and as you said, going into the segment, how dumb some of this stuff is.
Yeah, Will Howard's odds were at 1,500.
Right, okay, tell me what it is now.
Plus 1,000. It improved.
Of course. Ohio State, they're the unstoppable juggernaut, Scott. I mean, when's the last time they won anything? 2014. And the only reason that happened is Urban Meyer had a horseshoe up his ass.
That was when DVDs were relevant, right? 2014.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying Alabama had some injuries in that game. Just like, you know what? The only thing that stops Alabama usually is injuries, all right? Injuries and some weird bounces. That's the only thing that stopped Nick Saban in Alabama pretty much the entire time. So Urban Meyer, he got his national championship at Ohio State. He can thank Nick Saban for that, of course. But Nick Saban ran his ass out of the SEC at Florida. We all know that. And to be honest with you, he couldn't keep feeding the beast at Ohio State because by the next year, they were the favorite, just like they're going into this year being the favorite. Ohio State was going to repeat, Scott. Them SOBs didn't even make the playoff because they lost at home to the Michigan State Spartans who played Alabama. And what was the score, Scott, in that Cotton Bowl with Alabama and Michigan State again? What was the score?
I think Michigan State is still trying to score.
It was 38-0. Yeah. That's exactly right. That's what would have happened to the Sucks, too.
I about fell asleep in the press box.
During
that one.
Oh, yeah, you did cover it.
I was about fell asleep.
Probably just Derrick Henry's stiff arm that's living in infamy somewhere.
In case you're wondering, Carson Beckagini is the favorite at plus 750.
Oh, yeah, that's a pretty good one. That's a Scottinary there. Carson Beckagini, yeah. That's where we are in college football. You're putting a $300,000 Lamborghini on your friggin' X account because you just leased or bought a friggin' car worth $300,000 to drive around Athens, Georgia. Real smart.
Let's go out to the phone lines. Brandon is with us. Good morning, Brandon.
Hey, Brandon, do you need a Lamborghini to drive around Athens?
Hell no, I couldn't afford the insurance on it with my driving record.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody the other day about that. He back in the day, he told me when he was young, he was making really good money, so he buys a Corvette, right? He said, my payment was $300 a month, car payment. He goes, you know what my insurance payment was a month? $600. I said, well, there's no telling how much a Lamborghini would be. They'd probably be a few thousand.
Well, shit, I know you ain't driving a Lamborghini.
Hell no, man. You're crazy. I couldn't fit in a Lamborghini. I'd end up in traction. My shoulder's hurting right now, and I don't drive one of the SOBs, man.
I have a friend that owns an insurance business, and she flat out told me one time that a lot of those cars like that, they require you to pay the insurance on that for 6 months or a year up front at policy issue.
Wow.
A lot of them do not let you do monthly payments on it.
And think about it. He's a college kid, man. So it's going to probably be even more expensive.
Oh, it's got to be $4,000 or $5,000 every 6 months, if not more than that.
Crazy. $4,000 or $5,000 for a friggin' car insurance. You know, I mean, good
for
Lord.
6 months.
Man.
I mean, I thought I was doing good. I took last night and I used the wife's Instant Pot and I made some carnitas and they fell apart like a USC defense when I took them out. I mean, They were great.
Wow.
And I mean, that makes my day. I mean, I can't say much though. I put a pool in the backyard that I'll probably be paying for until I die. It's kind of nice, but it probably still didn't cost nowhere near what that Lambo cost.
Heck no. And you did that for your family, not for some kid just trying to draw attention to himself. We'll see if he has another great year, but good Lord.
Well, I got a friend that he has a real Hemi Superbird. His grandpa bought this thing new, and they've had it all these years. Car's probably worth $1 million. And I asked him one time, I said, what do you do with this car? And he said, well, you can only drive it, I think, 500 miles a year total. He said, it has to be garaged. It cannot be left outside. And he said the insurance on it ran, I think, like $6,000 or $7,000 a year to only be able to drive it 500 miles a year.
That's not even worth it.
You can't. So, I mean, they don't. They take it to some local shows and they'll drive it in some parades and do some stuff. I mean, I guess it's close to $1 million car because of what it is. And you just can't. I mean, it's more of an item to look at than it is to drive and enjoy. So, I looked at the bracket the other day, and if Alabama were to land a 3 seed, it was showing Lenardi was saying South Dallas. Well, above it, it said Memphis. So would that
would be cool. I'm hoping for Memphis, Brandon.
That's what I was thinking, hoping for Memphis, because then you would have Nashville and Memphis, and that's a pretty good drive. And that's 2 pretty good places to go have a good time at.
No doubt. I mean, I think we could even do a radio show on the road in Memphis. I mean, we certainly could be walking in Memphis. Hint, hint, hint there.
Oh, look at you.
For our resourceful producer, Bailey.
Well, that commercial that Scott did is so classic already that it almost deserves
it's
a remix.
legendary already, man, and it hasn't even been out, what, like a week and a half?
Yeah, 2 weeks
You can
maybe.
You could almost warm it up with a little bit of Little John, Window to the Wall. Like the remix capabilities of it are just off the chart.
Yeah, there's a lot we could do with that.
Well,
there is a lot.
When Scott did record it, he goes, "Man, you're never going to believe this new commercial." And I'll never forget when I heard it the first time on the show. I was like, oh my Lord. And then of course, Brandon, you did text. I will put this out on the show. And I said, you asked about how many takes it took. And I said, I don't know. It took one. And he did admit it took only 3.
It's about 3, yeah.
I think stunning.
Bailey, is it coming up in rotation? Do we know? Is the commercial coming up in rotation?
I felt like it was probably like back when I used to do In Living Color.
Okay, we need to put it in there.
I figured it was like a total comedy skit where y'all 15, 20 times, and then you had to marry 5 clips together.
No, that was – so when we did it all in one long thing. It was not spliced takes together. It wasn't mix and match. It was from beginning to end. That is just how it worked. It's just how it rolled.
Has anybody talked to Ronnie Stapler and got his reaction to it?
No. No, I don't know what Coach Stapler would think about it. Sorry.
I don't know if he thinks no Rons that did it that time, though. Probably not.
Yeah, Bailey asked about Coach Schulman.
Uh-oh.
I don't know what he would think either.
He might bench you for the second half.
He would have been in a much better mood the other night after a 10-point win on the road, though.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Brandon. Hey, dude, we were up against a break, bud. Thanks for the phone call. 7:46. Let's get a break in. When we come back, boy, I don't know. This show, I don't even know where we're at. We'll just figure out something to do when we get back.
But don't worry, Scott. I don't think it would have been a Moron of the Year kind of thing. I think it was just a moment in the history of the show.
I know. We'll figure out something to talk about when we return. 256-576-4977.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a new wreck in Morgan County, 67 and Shoal Creek. That one's going to be a no injury. Got Highway 20 east of the Beltline in Decatur. It's also reporting no injury. 72 east and Brock Road. That one had a vehicle reported in the water. First unit on the scene says it's not in the water, but is reported as an injury type. Stall vehicle reported westbound on Governors near Doug Hill. During February, you're going to pay by the day to join the Y. The earlier in the month you join, the less you pay. The Y is always a great value with free child care and never a contract. YMCA, Madison, and Huntsville. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff, Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Hello, Alabama sports fans. Did you know that it's illegal to place a sports bet on the big game in our state? Right now, you can place a legal wager in 38 states, including Tennessee, Florida, and Mississippi. But Alabama fans are missing out. Only you can help make a change. Call your legislator now and tell them you want the right to vote to allow sports betting in Alabama. Contact your legislator today by visiting sportsbettingalliance.org. Paid for by Sports Betting Alliance. sportsbettingalliance.org.
AL cert number 21014.
Are you looking to keep that love of your life warm on this Valentine's Day without the high costs? Make sure you give Talent Heating and Air a call today. Thomas, you guys have the options to keep the love warm.
Yeah, that's right. We have one of our steamiest deals ever at $2,000 off.
That's a Valentine's Day special worth celebrating. How do they find this?
All they have to do is go to our website or give us a call. That website's talenthvac.com or 256-503-4490.
Chocolate, roses, and a heater. All courtesy of Talent Heating and Air. One more time.
talenthvac.com.
And you can give them a call today.
256-503-4490. 844-4490.
Love me sexy.
At Bryant Bank, we recognize your time is valuable, and easy, secure access to your finances is essential. That's why we provide the financial tools you need to manage your money on the go and make life a bit easier. At Bryant Bank, we're here to help with instant debit cards, Apple Pay, person-to-person payments, and more. Bryant bankers want to show you how beneficial our digital banking services can be. Learn more at bryantbank.com. Bryant Bank. Live legendary. Member FDIC.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopay. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
Welcome back. Talkin' Ball 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. And as you mentioned off the top of the show, and I bring this up because it's kind of an interesting thing. Alabama will be wearing retro uniforms on Saturday.
Yep.
Retro basketball uniforms. Justin Hokanson, who covers Auburn, put out a post saying, hey, look, you know what? This is pretty cool. His idea is that every SEC basketball team one Saturday, same Saturday, pick a day on a Saturday, maybe in February, that everybody wears a throwback uniform against each other on a Saturday. Every SEC team does it on a Saturday. And then it's interesting because Alabama fans are weighing in on the basketball jerseys. Some like them and some don't. But someone suggested, well, maybe the football team should wear throwback uniforms. Maybe they should wear the white helmets one time because they used to wear white helmets at Alabama back in the day. And it is like blasphemy. It is like, don't ever bring that up again. Don't ever talk about it. Don't ever mention Alabama football wearing throwback uniforms or whatever. Why is it okay for the basketball and not the football?
Well, I guess it's just because when you look at it over the annals of history, but when Coach Bryant was at Alabama, they did wear white uniforms with white helmets during his time there. It was during the early years,
right?
For so long, then they shelved that. It came back briefly when West was playing in the 80s. I wouldn't mind a white helmet with a all white uniform every now and then, Scott. I mean, that's not changing too much. I think it would be a really nice look. Now, putting any kind of logo on the helmet would be kind of blasphemous.
No, just keep the numbers. Yeah, keep the look, but just do the white helmet.
Do the white helmet. And I will say, I wouldn't do like crimson bars on the helmets or anything, just a white helmet. And I would probably still stay with the gray bars on the helmets, but I think a white helmet would be really, really cool. And I'll be honest, I know there's some people that have said that's blasphemous, but I think most of the Tide Nation would be excited about it if you did that on the road. I really do. I mean, Auburn has done a little bit of that with the orange face mask and things of that nature, and then with the white face mask lately. And I think it's been neat. And I think if Alabama did it, it would be really cool. No doubt about it. I've seen variations of stuff. I've seen them they have these renderings of logos on helmets and stuff. I wouldn't be in favor of that, but I would be in favor of a white helmet, no doubt.
All right, 256-576-4977. You can share your thoughts on that if you will, if you want to. Again, 256-576-4977. Hey, by the way, I am sure you are just eager for this one, but happy National NIL in Court Day, by the way.
Oh, Lord.
This is the day that the Tennessee and Virginia court thing is going to be heard there. Ross Dellinger letting us all know that I think He says 9 a.m., and it's going to be on Eastern time, so I assume at 8 a.m. in 6 minutes.
Yeah.
A judge could grant an injunction prohibiting the NCAA from enforcing its NIL recruiting policy, allowing athletes to legally receive inducements to move schools. And it's an initial step, he says, in the court's further crippling of the NCAA amateurism. A lot of big words for me today. Anyway, that's going on today, in case you really want to know just how the NC Double Dumb could just get derailed even more today.
Well, I don't know. I'd rather do the Scott like we had during the break. Give him the heater.
Yes, we put that in there so that everybody would, if you've not been able to hear it, you would have been able to at least hear it during the break.
That was perfect timing. I was like, we haven't been giving enough love to that part of the segment either. Give him the heater.
Yes, nothing better than chocolate, roses, and a heater.
In the heater. Give him the heater, Ricky.
Forget the curveball, Ricky. Give him the heater. Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah.
They gave us 2 hours to talk sports today. We've just managed to throw everything else in there. But
hey, we got somebody listening in Mississippi. He just tweeted or posted at me and said that thank you for talking common sense with the white helmets. Because
really?
I just think the white helmets with the the crimson numbers and crimson striping. I think in gray, I still think a gray face mask would be really cool. I think it'd be a really cool look, and it's not even. It wouldn't even really be, going with. It would just basically just be going with. You're not changing anything else. You still got white jerseys on the road, things of that nature. But of course, you're talking about white pants. But the white helmets would be really cool, I think.
All right, we are closing in on the end of hour number 1 here. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Coming up at the top of the hour, Bill Bender's going to join us. Always good to hear from Bill Bender because, last time we talked to Bill, the transfer portal Kings at Ohio State were meeting the media, and Bill had a sit-down conversation with all the newcomers there at Ohio State. Since then, they were getting ready to hire Bill O'Brien. He is now left to take Boston College. Chip Kelly has come from UCLA to Ohio State to be the offensive coordinator, which, by the way, that opened up the transfer portal window for Ohio State, in case you were wondering. Their window, and I had it here. I was going to let you know when their window.
Now, the portal shouldn't be open for an OC lead.
For my bad, for UCLA.
Yeah, UCLA, Boston College.
The window is open for UCLA.
Yeah.
And I had the window on the time that their window was actually open for, like how long it was actually going to be open. I had the exact dates, but their 30-day window is open there at UCLA. I don't know if there's any players that anybody's going to want, but the window is open nonetheless. Bill Bender will join us at the top of the hour. We're going to talk Ohio State and Bill O'Brien going to Boston College and just how good of a fit is Chip Kelly. Remember, Drew, his offense, he was one of the pioneers of the no-huddle.
Yeah, with Oregon, yep. And that was
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Free air-chilled boneless chicken breasts and 4 juicy boneless pork chops with your order. OmahaSteaks.com/VSiN.
Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
Lots of movement in this week's AP Top 25 men's basketball poll. UConn still number 1. Purdue stays put at number 2. The Boilermakers and Huskies both betting favorites at plus 550 to win the national title. Houston up 2 spots to number 3. Marquette up 3 spots to number 4. Arizona jumped 3 spots to number 5. Tennessee down 2 spots to 8. Baylor jumped 1 spot to number 12. Auburn down 1 spot to 13. Illinois slipped 4 spots to number 14. Alabama up a spot to number 15. Wisconsin slid 9 spots to number 20. Indiana State ranked number 23. They're in the poll for the first time since the Larry Bird days. They're a plus 20,000 bet to win the national title. Get the latest lines and more at vsin.com.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Welcome back. Hour 2 of Talking Ball officially underway. 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you. The last time we had our next guest on, he had just had conversations with the newest members of the Ohio State football team via the transfer portal. Of course, a couple of those coming from Alabama to Ohio State. Former Alabama offensive coordinator Bill O'Brien just getting used to his office, his surroundings. He now gone, Drew. So there's a lot of change been going on in the college football world since we've last talked to our first guest.
Yeah, no question about it. We always enjoy catching up with our next guest. He's the senior college football writer for the Sporting News. He does as good a job as anybody we speak with at keeping up with the national picture in college football in the Big Ten, based out of the great state of Ohio. I know I get on the Buckeyes some, but again, they're one of the best programs in the country. They're going to be the preseason #1 team in the country. And they've been in a lot of conversation about Ohio State, and not just for the roster they're building, but now the coaching staff. Alabama has lost assistant coaches in the last few days. We've seen Ohio State make some bold moves, and we're going to talk about that and more with Bill Bender, who's been kind enough to join us this morning on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Bill, great to have you back on the show. You're with Drew and Scott. How are you this morning?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thank you, Bill. No doubt.
Well, and Bill, a lot's changed. I mean, we had you on. You were just having conversations with the newest additions to Ohio State, and they're all going to fit in. And it looked like, I mean, they had the direction with Bill O'Brien. Offensively, they were going to settle in. And then the Boston College job opens. Bill O'Brien goes back to where he's from, in that area, the Northeast. And that opens up a role for Chip Kelly, who wanted out of UCLA to come to Ohio State.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's a home run hire for the Buckeyes, obviously. Chip, super experienced, knows the game, has a familiarity with Ryan Day dating back to when he was the offensive coordinator at New Hampshire and Day was the quarterback. I think, to me, it signifies that they may get back to the run a little bit more with Quinshon Judkins and Trevion Henderson. You know, you look at UCLA's teams, he always had a good power rushing attack in space, and same at Oregon. So I think those are a couple things schematically maybe to watch for. And, you know, whether that or not that's good for college football guys, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's a good thing to have a coach leave a school in the conference to take a job as a coordinator for another school in the conference. It's really strange move from that standpoint.
Well, and Bill, I think you may have vaguely mentioned it with us. The last time you joined us, you had talked to Caleb Downs, you had talked to Will Howard and Quinshon Judkins. And how did the fan base react to Bill O'Brien? His 2 years in Tuscaloosa. It was extremely, the opinions varied to one extreme to the other. And I certainly thought he did a solid job, but a lot of the fan base was not happy with him. What was the reaction of the Ohio State fan base for the few weeks that he was the OC. Were they excited about it, or was there trepidation with Bill O'Brien coming to town?
No, it was kind of not mixed, but, they were excited from the standpoint of, you have a big-name coordinator like that had worked with Bryce Young, and,
Right.
It takes a little bit off of Ryan Day's plate. I mean, that's the biggest development here. It's not so much about the coordinator, about the fact that Ryan Day is – because all the pressure's on him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Chip Kelly's not going to feel nearly as much pressure as Ryan Day will this year, with the last 3 losses to Michigan and those kind of things that we've talked about. So, I don't think anybody was mad Bill O'Brien left. It's just another opportunity presented itself. He has a son who requires treatment, and that there's a hospital there. I mean, that's part of it too. And at the end of the day, it's a really good hire for Boston College.
Yeah. When does it say that Chip Kelly wanted out of UCLA so bad that he would take a coordinator's position over a head coaching position?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know that's not a good look for UCLA under any circumstance right now. I mean, it's a really tough look. But on the flip side, they did hire, and that is a recognizable face for a lot of UCLA fans. Could create some excitement. Half of the battle, whether you're talking about Boston College or UCLA, I think we may have talked about this last time. Those are tough places to win, man. They are. They're tough because you're in a major city and you're not the main attraction. And fundraising and recruiting and NIL, trying to get money for that, are going to be part of the challenges for schools like Boston College and UCLA in the future.
Yeah, and I think is that why we saw UCLA that you have to move quickly because of the transfer portal being open. But they went back and got a familiar face who had gone to the Raiders but had been there for 7 years, Deshaun Foster, an alum who has an understanding of the school. Maybe has some inroads for some to get some folks around that program, some supporters to be more aggressive and to help fund NIL, because it's obvious even before NIL became prevalent. Jim Mora Jr. and others that have been there since the days of Terry Donahue, there's always been questions about the commitment level for UCLA football, Bill.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough place to win. That's what I'm saying. You would think that with the recruiting base and location, and if any of you have ever been to UCLA's campus and you walk around for 10 minutes and you're like, why would anybody ever want to go to this school with the weather and the restaurants and Pauley Pavilion, the beach? It is nearby. It is an amazing campus. So maybe that's just growing up in Ohio where you're jealous whenever you're out at some place like that.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, certainly, but now we'll see what happens with Deshaun Foster, and he's going to be the next guy to kind of take the torch of UCLA football. But they're also entering a difficult new era, and I think that probably factored into Chip Kelly's decision. Well, first of all, I know he was on the hot seat at the end of last year, so he knew going into this year it was going to be difficult. They've lost some kids in the portal. There's been questions about their commitment level, and now they're making that transition to the Big Ten, Bill.
Yeah, I mean, his record was around 500. It wasn't like that was anywhere near special. It was, and for UCLA, I mean, maybe the Deshaun Foster thing will work out. Chip Kelly was obviously flirting with the NFL, too. So it just happened that this job opens up. Like I said, the relationship with Ryan Day is there. You open up that for the Ohio State football team. And it does ratchet up the pressure in general in Columbus, because now, I've been asked a couple times, even by you guys, national championship or bust? I mean, kind of. At minimum, it's beat Michigan or bust. And if that doesn't happen this year, there would be ramifications. So for Chip Kelly, I mean, job stability-wise, okay, if Ohio State cleans their house, what's the difference from if he had a 6-7 season at UCLA and they were going to, like you said, at the end of this year, there was talk that he was coaching his last game against USC.
Right.
So he comes to Ohio State. What version of Chip Kelly do you think we'll get? Are we going to get the really fast tempo Oregon style offense, or are we going to get this bruising style, running style of offense that he tried to use at UCLA?
Well, I mean, this is probably the most talent he'll ever have on a team. Between the running backs, as I mentioned, I do think they'll use both running backs to bruising running attack. I think they'll start there. That's what wins in the Big Ten. That's what Michigan has won with, right? They've won with two running backs and a good quarterback who makes good decisions. And Ohio State has more receiver talent than most teams in the country. So I think you combine all those things, you put it in that hyper speed that Chip Kelly likes to move. But Chip Kelly also likes to change speed. So I think Ohio State's going to be already tough enough to defend, and you throw him on top of it. And if Will Howard makes good decisions, they're going to be super talented. Potential to score 40 points per game, no question.
Well, and we're talking to Bill Bender for this first segment of hour two of the Tuesday edition of Talkin' Ball. Bill Bender of the Sporting News. What's your thoughts on Sharon Moore and what he's been trying to put together at Michigan? Certainly, as expected, coaches have followed Jim Harbaugh, especially that defensive staff. They've lost some coaches to the NFL as well. How has the build there been in your mind for Sharon Moore? And, of course, their portal window's still open, but how has that gone so far? What's the kind of the pulse of the Michigan fan base? They're still on cloud nine, winning a national title, but what are the thoughts going into spring practice for Michigan right now?
Well, I mean, yeah, they're still going to be – he'll have a honeymoon because they're coming off their first national title in 26 years. So, and, you know, there'll be an understanding that, yeah, this is the way it worked. But, I mean, they didn't have a lot of guys transfer out. He's going to have to build his own coaching staff. I think it's the combination of continuity, which, you know, a lot of the players are back, a lot of the foundation of what they built is back, versus Sharon Moore going to have to put his own spin on it. It is very comparable in some ways to when Ryan Day took over for Urban Meyer. And obviously the Ohio State program looks a little bit different now, but they're still very successful. Michigan's got a very tough schedule next year. I think Michigan's losing 15, 16 guys the NFL draft. It could be comparable to what happened to LSU after 2019 for the next couple of years. You know, LSU won that national title, and it was rough for a couple of years. And I still don't think there's probably a percentage of LSU fans, maybe however small, that are like, hey, you know, still can't beat our 2019 team. So that honeymoon will be there for a couple of years.
And then, Bill, with Alabama, they've gone through their own transition in just the last few days. They lost their offensive coordinator, Ryan Grubb, to the Seattle Seahawks. Also, Coach Scott Huff, the offensive line coach. So still a staff not completed. We thought it was a few days ago for Kalen DeBoer. Alabama's still going through some transition. We'll see in the coming days who is added there by Coach DeBoer. But some interesting times in Tuscaloosa as well. And it just shows the climate right now. So many coaches in our Jeff Hatley, all these guys trying to get to the NFL, it seems, because of the climate in college football.
Yeah, I mean, well, and that's until they figure out the calendar and until they, you know, those kind of things is really not going to change. I mean, yeah, you feel bad for the players. They can't transfer.
Right.
This is kind of the business. And this has been the wildest coaching carousel I can remember. I mean, we're on 30 coaching changes, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinators, moving around, NFL, and the whole debate about whether it's easier to coach in the NFL now, which there's some merit to that debate right now as well. So all of that rolls into, it'll be interesting to see if Alabama does what Ohio State does and poaches a head coach for its offensive coordinator position, which isn't out of the question.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, they've already done it with Mo Lindquist of Buffalo, who gave up a head coaching job in a group of five situation to become co-defensive coordinator, and Kane Womack from South Alabama. So like you said, Bill, this is another aspect of the coaching carousel that's become prevalent this offseason.
Yeah, and for sure. And like I said, yeah, they've already poached 2 head coaches. So why wouldn't they go, look at an offensive coordinator? Now, there's a couple names out there, but we'll see. And obviously, this is the way it goes. I think we could still have some portal windows and coaching changes going into April, which is wild. And one of the things I'm going to do this week, I'm still kind of finding my bearings after the Super Bowl and all that as I helped with that. But, we're going to revise our top 25 like everybody else. And I did it a month ago, and it's probably going to look vastly different just based on all these changes.
Your thoughts on Super Bowl? You mentioned you helped with that. Your thoughts on Super Bowl 58?
I mean, Patrick Mahomes is that guy. He's there. I phrase it like this. I watched with a good friend who I played high school ball with, and there was no point where I thought Kansas City would lose because he was on the field and it was within striking distance the entire time. He's a closer. Those last 2 drives, 12 of 14, the big run on 4th and 1, the big scramble after that. He's my son's version of Montana when I was growing up, and I guess Brady for all of us for 20 years or so. He's that guy.
Yeah, no question. He is special, Bill. I knew when the 49ers didn't put it away in the first half and didn't get a double-digit lead that it was going to be very difficult to hold Pat Mahomes off. I mean, he's he's spectacular. And again, I've made no bones about it, but Kyle Shanahan's Super Bowl record isn't very good. But as has been pointed out, Andy Reid, it came so close many times in Philadelphia, didn't get over the hump until Kansas City, got Pat Mahomes. And, of course, we know, Shanahan's still a very young coach. But, I will give Andy Reid this. He is very comfortable in his own skin. I'll never forget, it was booed, but it ended up being the right decision when he chose Donovan McNabb over Ricky Williams and had a huge run with him, even though they didn't win a Super Bowl. And then he drafted Pat Mahomes. Nobody had him going in the top 10, and he traded up to get him. Andy Reid has proven himself to be a Hall of Fame coach, and if Pat Mahomes can stay healthy and they can protect him, I don't know if he'll win 7 Super Bowls, but he's going to be on a very short list of the greatest to ever play the game.
Yeah, and we can have that conversation when he retires. I know Sporting News, we put out the top 40 or top 5 quarterbacks of all time after the Super Bowl, and we had 12 of us vote, some really knowledgeable people on our staff that watch a ton of football, and Mahomes landed 3 on that list, and behind Montana and Brady, and there's room for that to move up. And Andy Reid, just like you said, I mean, he's in that Super Bowl club with Noel and Gibbs and Walsh and Belichick. I mean, those are an underrated, really good job that he's done. And you take it all the way back to his Philadelphia days, it was amazing. So, yeah, they are a dynasty. They have the opportunity to win 3 in a row. The Taylor Swift thing didn't hurt football at all. I wrote about that as well. My daughter actually watched the game, which I was into, and she's into football a lot more than she was. So I think all of those things are healthy for the game. There's no question.
No question. Well, Bill, we appreciate the time as always and giving us some insight into Ohio State, Bill O'Brien, Chip Kelly, and the Super Bowl. You guys do a great job with the Sporting News. Let everybody know how to follow you.
Yeah, I'm at Bill Bender 92 at sportingnews.com, and looking forward to it. It's never the off season, but like I said, we'll have some bracketology, some updated rankings. You guys are gonna have to check in with me soon. I mean, I looked at the calendar. It's like spring football is only in a couple weeks. We don't have that much time to wait.
Oh, no doubt. We will definitely be checking in, and we know you'll be keeping close tabs on the national scene and, of course, Ohio State. And we'll have to see, what Ryan Day's squad looks like with Chip Kelly and all that new talent. But have a great rest of your week, man, and thank you for giving us some time today.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill Bender with us. I wanted to say Bill O'Brien.
Yeah, we've been talking about Bill O'Brien.
Yeah. I know. Bill Bender with us from the Sporting News. Let's get a break in. More conversation. 256-576-4977. You can join us next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Had a wreck at 67 in Shoal Creek in Morgan County. Another one in Decatur, Highway 20 east at the Beltline. Got 72 in Brock Road. That one did report as an injury type. And we had a stall reported westbound on Governors at Doug Hill that may still be trying to wrap up. You get 2 pieces of hand-breaded, juicy, tender signature chicken and a buttermilk biscuit for $4.99 at Popeyes. University in Jordan, 72 in Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Wake up. Breakfast. And Nature Made vitamins. Whatever your morning sounds like, Nature Made fits right in. Whether you're looking for vitamin C or a multivitamin to get key nutrients, we've got you covered. Now that's a good morning. We take care of you so you can take on your day. Start your day with Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
Since 1986, Full Moon Barbecue has been cooking quality meats low and slow over a hickory wood-fired pit. From ribs and wings, brisket, turkey, catfish, and sausage to the best butts in town. If you're planning a holiday or a birthday party, Full Moon has a large banquet room. And Full Moon is ready for your next catering or tailgate. Just call us and we'll take care of everything. 256-713-0070. Full Moon Barbecue on the Parkway next to Costco. The best little pork house in Alabama.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Welcome back, Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, DeArmond with you. Great conversation there with Bill Bender from the Sporting News. Talk a little college football. And he brought up some of the transfer portal stuff, and we know the UCLA window is open, and it's 30 days. College quarterbacks have been a mainstay when it comes to being in the transfer portal. Drew, last year, there were 136 FBS scholarship quarterbacks that went into the Division I transfer portal.
Yeah.
Or transferred to other Division I schools, I should say. The year before that, so 2 years, 130 quarterbacks transferred to other Division I schools. We have a new record. By the end of January, okay, a little over a month and a half ago, we had 148 scholarship passers hit the transfer portal. Just quarterbacks alone, we had 148 quarterbacks hit the transfer portal.
Oh. Well, it's the most transient position, Scott, because there's only one football, and you just don't see a lot of coaches playing more than one guy unless there's an injury. And we even saw Julian saying he only stayed at Alabama a few weeks because of Alabama changing coaches and getting Austin Mack out of the transfer portal because of the coach they hired brought him with him. And so the quarterback position, you're always going to see movement. And there'll probably be even more. You just talked about it, being at 148?
148, yes.
I wouldn't even be surprised if there's more than that after spring practice when that next portal window opens in April, around April 15th.
All right, we'll have more on this maybe tomorrow because it's an interesting little thing about where they all get. It's a big web they weaved as far as quarterbacks go. Let's go out to the phone lines. Jeff from the Borough with us. Good morning, Jeff.
How's it going, guys?
Good.
Well, there's a state legislature in Tennessee y'all might like. He's proposed of course, I don't know for the past our right wingers up here are so dumb it might. He's proposing a bill to make a state holiday the day after the Super Bowl, a state holiday in Tennessee. I know y'all want that, correct?
They're making a state
They want to make a state holiday in Tennessee the day after the Super Bowl.
Oh, we get this every year. Some state wants to do this every year because, I think it's
I know y'all want that, correct?
I mean, the Tennessee Titans haven't made the Super Bowl since the days of the late great Steve McNair. So why in the hell?
I'm talking about this period. We ain't talking about Titans, but I'm about just day after Super Bowl period. They won't do it. I mean, we do it's every year. I'm just saying there's a guy that's proposed. I'm not saying it's going to pass. I'm just saying he's got a bill written. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to pass. I'm just saying. And there's a bill was passed in Georgia. It went through the Senate yesterday, which they want to make cornbread the official bread of Georgia.
I didn't hear about that one either. Sorry.
Yeah, and a guy joked and said, "Let's make gravy the official condiment of Georgia." He said. So that's what you get with politics these days. Dumb stuff like that. But
let's not worry about the economy. Let's worry about cornbread. Yeah.
That's right. We're about cornbread. Where the economy's doing, we're doing wonderful. We're doing wonderful. We'll keep rolling. Roll on, Biden. We're roll on, baby. Keep rolling. So y'all have a good day, guys. See you.
Wow, Drew, I think that's a first. He never mentioned Kentucky, John Calipari, or the Wildcats at all in that conversation.
He's probably nervous, Scott, even though they're at home tonight. They've lost 3 in a row in Rupp Arena for really the first time ever because, as he said, the other 3-game losing streak at home was in 66 before Rupp. So it's never happened before until now. Hopefully it won't reach 4. I actually like Kentucky tonight. I think they'll get off the schneid. I'll predict something. If they don't get off of it tonight, they are in big, big trouble. Because think of how mind-numbing is it, though, to think about Kentucky, the most tradition-rich program in the SEC. And this is the only other time I can remember struggles like this. And they didn't even do it during that time when you remember they were on probation. And for the Chris Mills situation, they never even lost 4 in a row at home in one of those seasons. So this is unprecedented. They've got to get off the schneid tonight.
I just Googled this because I had no idea it was a thing.
Yeah.
Because Jeff brought it up. True, he's not wrong. Georgia lawmakers have cooked up. They're calling this the most controversial bill, and it would crown cornbread as the official state bread.
The official state bread?
The official state bread. It cleared the House last Friday. The bill cleared the House.
Are they all Democrats?
I don't know.
Come on. What are they going to do? Give out free cornbread so they can soak it in some liquor every time they lose to Alabama?
2 Republicans voted against it.
Well, good. They actually have common sense.
Oh, my God. The bill passed the House 155-3. It needs to clear the Senate, so it remains to be seen if the proposal will land on the governor's desk.
Well, you better start doing research then, Scott. You're the food guy. You got to find the best cornbread in Georgia.
Cornbread could be the official bread of the state of Georgia.
Oh, Lord.
Maybe Mr. Lamborghini can pick some up.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. Run by and put some cornbread in the trunk.
Lamborghinis don't have trunks, do they?
They do, but I bet they don't hold a bunch of damn cornbread.
Oh, my goodness.
We can ask Brian Matthews here in a couple of minutes if he thinks cornbread, how does he like his cornbread, and should it be the official what it would be called again? It's the official bread of
the official state bread.
The official state bread. Does Alabama even have an official state bread? I don't think we do. I don't think we've wasted our time with that.
I don't think we have either. Alabama official state bread.
Yeah. We're a food show, so we're trying to find that out for the folks.
Well, oh my gosh.
No, don't tell me there's a state bread in Alabama.
No, back in 2014, Alabama's House of Representatives passed a resolution that would make cornbread the official state bread of Alabama.
Here we go. So we've already passed it?
At least it went through the House.
Oh, my goodness.
This is just, all right. We got to get a break in. We're going to.
What have we done on this show today?
I feel like we haven't accomplished a damn thing.
Oh, man.
I really do. I don't think we've done anything. But that's okay. Not Justin. Brian Matthews will help us talk some sports next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Plenty of sunshine this afternoon, though it is going to be on the cooler end of the spectrum. Temperatures only climbing into the lower 50s. We're going to drop into the low and mid 30s as we head into the overnight, early into your Wednesday morning. A mostly sunny sky Wednesday afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the upper 50s and lower 60s. A little more cloud cover for your Thursday, but it's going to be a beautiful afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the low 60s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Haven't picked up anything new accident-wise. Everything from earlier should now be cleared out of the way. You be careful. We're going to have a lot of folks in last-minute dash mode scrambling to get in on time this morning. From routine care to heart failure, Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace have the expertise to care for all matters of the heart. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Hello, Alabama sports fans. Did you know that it's illegal to place a sports bet on the big game in our state? Right now, you can place a legal wager in 38 states, including Tennessee, Florida, and Mississippi. But Alabama fans are missing out. Only you can help make a change. Call your legislator now and tell them you want the right to vote to allow sports betting in Alabama. Contact your legislator today by visiting sportsbettingalliance.org. Paid for by Sports Betting Alliance. sportsbettingalliance.org. Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
AL cert number 21014.
Are you looking to keep that love of your life warm on this Valentine's Day without the high costs? Make sure you give Talent Heating and Air a call today. Thomas, you guys have the options to keep the love warm.
Yeah, that's right. We have one of our steamiest deals ever at $2,000 off.
That's a Valentine's Day special worth celebrating. How do they find this?
All they have to do is go to our website or give us a call. That website's talenthvac.com or 256-503-4490.
Chocolate, roses, and a heater. All courtesy of Talent Heating and Air. One more time.
TalentHVAC.com.
And you can give them a call today.
256-503-4490.
Love me sexy.
College football.
The ball is caught. It is a touchdown.
Major League Baseball.
That ball is gone. A home run.
This is your place for complete sports coverage all year long. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Yes, I'm only a bill, and I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. Well, it's a long, long journey to the Capitol City.
Drew, he did it. Bailey came through.
Oh, wow. Way to go, Bailey.
Yes. Well, man.
I'm rocking out here. And today I am still just a bill.
On Capitol Hill.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Cornbread. There you go. Let's talk football and basketball. Let's make some sense of the show.
Absolutely. With our next guest, we're going to talk some Auburn hoops. Huge game coming up. We talked about it at the start of the show. Tomorrow at Neville Arena. Auburn trying to bounce back. You know, we all know they haven't won at Florida since '96, but they have the best home court in all of the SEC, even better than Rupp Arena. We've been talking about the struggles of Kentucky Wildcats, but the Auburn Tigers are going to take on South Carolina and Lamont Paris. South Carolina, the biggest surprise in the SEC. And since 2001, Brian Matthews has covered Auburn for AuburnSports.com, part of the Rivals Network, and he's joining us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Good morning, Brian. We've been talking about cornbread today.
I love cornbread, and it is a very big week for Auburn basketball. It's South Carolina Wednesday, Kentucky Saturday, both games at Neville Arena. Both games Auburn needs to win if they're going to stay in this race.
You know, and Brian, I mean, look, college basketball is a crazy thing, crazy weeks. I mean, just take an example. I mean, Kansas beats Baylor. They go on the road the last night, and they just get hammered by 29. I mean, Auburn goes to Florida. They haven't played well at Florida in a long time. I mean, a long time. Was that just a part of how crazy basketball can be, or is that just Auburn just coming off that Alabama high and just having to regroup and it just didn't go right?
I think it's a lot of things. Yeah, I think part of it is Florida is a tough matchup for Auburn with their size. They got good guards who can, hit the three well, and of course they're playing at home. They're also coming off a bye week, so they had, a full week to prepare for Auburn, where Auburn was coming off a really emotional, as you said, big win over Alabama Wednesday night, then had to travel. So, I think if you watch that game, you could see that Auburn was a little bit tired. I thought most of the team was, the players. And I also think that Florida is a team that, even though they got 4 losses, is a team with a lot of. I think I heard. I don't know how true this is, but I think I heard that their entire team is newcomers. I don't know if that's correct or not, but they've got a lot of newcomers. So they're a team that's going to come together at some point, and maybe they're doing that now. And I think Bruce Pearl said before the game he felt like they were still a contender for this title, and they could make a run. So. That's another thing to keep in mind with the Gators going down the stretch here.
Well, and I thought Florida did as good a job as anybody I've seen, especially during conference play, Brian, of defending Jonai Broome, making him earn everything. And then, as I've said, I love Jalen Williams. I think he's the X factor. I think a big reason why Alabama won in Tuscaloosa is he did not have a great game, but in the rematch, he was tremendous. He had 26 points. But he never could get it going in Gainesville. I think he ended up, 1 for 8 from the floor?
Yeah, I think that's right. And, when he struggles, Auburn struggles. I think he is one of those guys that's sort of a barometer of how the team plays. And, he was getting shots. They were just coming up a little short and, bouncing off the rim or whatever. So it just wasn't a good game for him. Although I think the way Florida played, I think they would have beaten Auburn even if it was a good game for Jalen. They were just they just really brought it to Auburn on both ends of the floor. But I do think he's an important piece for Auburn, and he does need to play well for Auburn to be successful.
And Brian, I mean, Auburn goes out and performs well in this next one. I mean, we're going to forget about the Florida one. I mean, the Florida's a good team. Florida needed the win, just like Auburn needed to win against Ole Miss a couple games ago. Florida needed that win against Auburn to help them as far as their resume goes. So the loss may not be a bad loss for Auburn just because of where Florida might end up. But if Auburn goes out and takes care of business in this next one, it's going to be, okay, hey, look, we're right where we want to be still.
Yeah, I mean, South Carolina is a really big game Wednesday night. They've won a couple of key road games already, and they're probably looking at their schedule and feeling like if they can come to Auburn and win, they've taken a big step toward winning at least a piece of the SEC regular season championship. So this is going to be a big game for them. Auburn knows if they lose to South Carolina, Kentucky at home this week, that probably knocks them out of the race just because it's so tough to go on the road, and they've still got a road game at Tennessee. They got to go to Georgia. I think after Kentucky, after Kentucky's an off week, then they got to go to Georgia, and they got to go to Tennessee, and those are going to be really tough wins for Auburn being on the road there. So maybe they can pick up the Georgia game. We'll see, but they've got to hold serve at home.
Yeah, they really do, and I know I still think Kentucky, if they can get healthy and get their entire lineup back, no question about it, they can still be dangerous. But they're not healthy right now, and it's a blood in the water type thing. So Auburn needs to take advantage of getting them at home in Neville Arena. They've already played well against Kentucky in the past anyway. But like you said, Brian, you get these two home games, and you are right there in the SEC race near the top, if not at the top of the standings at this point.
Yeah, I think there's a pretty good chance that 14-4 is going to win you at least a share of the title. We'll see. A team like Alabama or Tennessee or South Carolina, if they win Wednesday, you go on a roll there, finish 15-3 or something. But I think 14-4 is what Auburn would shoot for. They've got 3 losses right now, so they can afford one more road loss at Tennessee if you look at the schedule, most likely, right? And they can't afford to drop one at home. So we'll see how it turns out. Maybe Auburn's not going to win the SEC regular season championship. It's there for them. The opportunity is there, but there's a lot of other good teams that are saying the same thing right now.
And Brian I know we talked about Jalen Williams and of course and Jonai Broome and Dylan Cardwell. That's the strength of this Auburn team. Is there concern with a little bit of the struggles of Trey Donaldson and Aiden Holloway, and even we always know KD Johnson has been streaking his career. How much of a concern is the guard play for Auburn right now?
I'd say it's a big concern, if I'm being honest, and that has really become my biggest concern with this team right now. They're just, you looked in the preseason, Aiden Holloway was a good three-point shooter. You brought in Denver Jones, who you thought was going to be a better three-point shooter. You got some other guys on the team like Chad, who can hit the three, and it just hasn't happened. And Auburn is really, once again, struggling to make three-pointers. I think as a team right now, they're shooting, I think it's just under 330 now from three-point range, and really a lot of that is Jonai Broome and Jalen Williams. Auburn's guards just aren't really getting it done right now. So I think, that's an area that if they can step up, in the second half of SEC play, they can really make a big difference. That's the one area Auburn can improve in. But if they don't, I don't think this team can go far once it gets to tournament time, because that guard play, the three-point shooting, all that is so important in tournament play, and Auburn's not getting that at the moment.
Brian, I mean, and you've watched every game up close. Is it shot selection? Is it them just rushing the offense, or is it a case where the shots just aren't falling?
Sometimes I think it is them not getting to the offense and rushing the shots. Other times I just think it's dudes just not knocking down shots. I mean, they're getting good shots, just not knocking them down, especially on the road. But, it makes me think that maybe some guys are going to break out and start, getting a little bit hot. We'll see. But I just haven't seen that happen yet. So, maybe these guys just aren't quite good enough to do it. We'll see.
No doubt. And like you said in your Monday musings, though, the road is very dangerous in this league. We've already seen what, Alabama, what happened to them going to Auburn. Happened to Auburn going to UF. We've seen, Ole Miss struggle on the road. This league is really good. We talked about this in the first hour, though, and I think it's one of the things that Greg Sankey's accomplished. I still think it says a lot for the SEC how deep the league is, though, when you still have 7, 8, 9 teams in the mix for the NCAA tournament. The bottom of the league this year, the bottom 5 led by LSU after Alabama whitewashed them in Baton Rouge, is not great. It's not good at all, really. But that top 9 is still pretty strong, Brian.
Yeah, and that top 9 is capable of beating any of the other top 9 at home, I feel like. And I do feel like the conference deserves a lot of credit. It's gotten so much better over my course of following it. When I started, it was Kentucky and everybody else, and different teams would have their moments. But, it was Kentucky that would show up on your floor and beat the heck out of you. They'd win the tournament just about every year, the SEC tournament. So it's changed now. It's really a strong league. It really very much reminds me of watching the heydays of, some of the what I call basketball conferences like the ACC and the old conference up in the Northeast.
Big East.
Yeah, the Big East. Thank you. I'm not saying it's quite that good, maybe because, back in those days, you have guys stay around for 3 and 4 years.
Yeah.
You have these NBA guys. Of course, that's not going to happen again, but still, just the depth of the league, I just think is really impressive right now.
It really is, no doubt about it. And then in your mind, as you think about the South Carolina matchup, you would think especially Auburn is a proud program under Bruce Pearl. They definitely want to bounce back from the performance at Florida. And I'm sure South Carolina has their full attention because, I'll freely admit, Scott and I, we didn't believe in South Carolina even a month ago because we talked about their pre-conference schedule. But to me, when I started really believing is when they went to Thompson Bowling and won.
Well, yeah, and of course they went to Alabama, I think, game 2 in the SEC and got beat by about 30 points almost. So
right, yeah.
It was an inauspicious start for them, but that just tells you, A, how tough it can be in the road, and B, how deep this league is. And they found something, and they are on a roll. And going to a place like Tennessee and winning, they won at Kentucky. Those are 2 enormous wins, and if they end up winning the league or share the title, they're going to look back on those moments and say those were the keys. And this could be a big moment for them too. If Auburn, doesn't play well, this is going to be a really tough game.
And Brian, we are just to shift it just a little bit here, real fast. We're 3 days away from baseball getting to open the season as they get ready to take on Eastern Kentucky in just 3 days.
They are, and I think you look at this Auburn team. I think the depth and talent of the pitching staff is going to be the strength of it. And I do think they've signed some good transfers, and I think they're going to have a pretty solid lineup, but we'll see how long it takes that group to sort of come together. And, we'll see how some of these transfers, sometimes they step right in after being really good at a school like Jack State or Miami, Ohio, or wherever, or sometimes it takes them, some time to get their feet on the ground and play at this level. Of course, sometimes you don't see that until we get into conference play, but still, I think it's going to be interesting to see how that lineup comes together. But pitching should be the strength. And, I think I haven't seen the announcement yet, but I think we're going to see Joseph Gonzalez out there for game 1, a healthy Joseph that's been, throwing now for several months, should be ready to go.
And that was a huge injury last year that really hurt Auburn's rotation, not having him for the majority of the season, Brian.
It was big. He came out on opening day last year, and that was it. Can never get back, and had surgery in the off season. Thought about possibly signing with the major league team, and but elected to return. That was big, and I think he's going to be ready to go. I think there's a lot of confidence in it. He's gotten a lot bigger and stronger. He's added some to his fastball. The biggest thing he's been working on in preseason is just getting the feel back on the sinker, right? You add just a couple more miles per hour on that, and it might not break as much. So you just got to find that balance there to try to get it back. So that was the biggest thing for him, I think, going into this. We'll see how it looks come Friday.
Yeah, we certainly will. And we know you guys will have full coverage of that weekend series against Eastern Kentucky. and 2 huge basketball games, first on Wednesday and then back on Saturday inside Neville Arena. South Carolina, Kentucky should be 2 great basketball games, 2 great opportunities for Auburn to stay in that top 15 in the country and in the mix for the SEC championship and a top 3 or 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. Let everybody know how to follow you.
I appreciate that, and we'll have full coverage here at auburnsports.com. You can follow me on Twitter /X and Threads at BMATAU.
Appreciate it, sir.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Let's get that final break in, shall we? We'll wrap it all up with your tomorrow's headlines next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Just got a new wreck reported at Rideout and Oakwood Road. That one's coming in with injury and possible entrapment. I don't have a direction reported on it yet. Everything else seems to be in pretty good shape. Looks like we're going to wind up looking pretty good. You be careful. We do have some folks scrambling trying to get in on time. Snelling can help you hire the accounting and office professionals you need. Direct hire, temp, or temp to hire. Snelling, partnering with the area's top companies for over 60 years. 256-382-4000. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
This is Wes Neighbors sitting here with Philip Love of not only Eagle Insulation, now he represents Eagle Companies. Eagle through the years have added several companies to help individuals or builders through their construction renovation process. Eagle is known to represent quality, efficiency, and professionalism. Philip, I know you do insulation, but do you do masonry?
We do.
Do you do grading, erosion control, and dirt hauled off?
We do.
Do you do after paint, which includes shower doors, mirrors, shelving blinds, and bath hardware?
Yes, we do, Wes.
Do you do landscaping and irrigation?
Yes, we do.
So basically, Eagle can help you all along your process of building your house or doing renovations. So do you do plumbing?
We do not, Wes, but we can find somebody to do it.
Just give them time. They'll be there. Anyway, call Eagle Insulation at
256-755-1556.
Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Call Eagle today.
Thanks, Wes.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10-plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
What's better than 2 end-zone sports bars? 3 end-zone sports bars. And we have you covered with our original location on University across from Red Lobster, in Jones Valley on Cecil Ashburn near Carl T. Jones, and our newest location in the Midtown District on McMurtry Drive opposite the Target Plaza. All locations feature the NFL Sunday Ticket, Tuesday half-price burgers, and Wednesday $1 jumbo wings all day long. You're never far from the end zone. End Zone Sports Bar.
It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All right, so the headlines, I guess, would be high school basketball starting today, regionals, right?
Yeah, no doubt. You guys are going to be coming down after the show.
We are.
Matchups, and 9 o'clock in just a few minutes, the Grissom Lady Tigers taking on Hewitt-Trussville Lady Huskies. Then Jack Doss and the Grissom Boys taking on the Chelsea Hornets, who are a Cinderella story, Scott, as we said. They won as the 4 seed. in the 7A Area 6 tournament. They win at Spain Park. And then Hewitt Trustville, the 2 seed, was upset 49-44. Let me correct that. That was the final score, 49-44. They end up falling to Oak Mountain. Oak Mountain will take on Huntsville High at 1:30, and you guys will be doing that game live on the NFHS network, I believe, in 97.7 The Zone, correct?
Yeah, and you know what this also means?
Right. Go ahead.
It means I get to eat at the Big Chief.
Oh, you know what? It was the pitch black late at night. I didn't get to the hotel until 11:15 last night, Scott. And I went down 278 and everything. I don't think I passed the Big Chief, but I swear I saw an Oasis that looked like it because you showed me the pictures.
Right.
I thought I saw it, but I was like, is that the Big Chief? Because I thought about that. And, I drove myself, so I could theoretically hit up the Big Chief today after the game.
You could. I got to get with Tokyo, and I think we will on the way back.
Yeah, exactly. I may end up hitting up the Big Chief as well. And I know I know they close relatively early, but I was thinking I might have a chance to potentially hit up the Big Chief. We'll see.
I got to see. Now you say they close early. Now I got to make sure because
I think so. I thought I read that, when you told me about it. I don't think they stay open. Like, am I thinking past 5:30 or 6?
It says it opens at 7 o'clock is what it says here.
7. There you go.
So we would have time.
Yeah.
So there we go. All right.
Cornbread, the Big Chief, the Heater. What a show.
You sound like you're going to go Bill Walton on me.
I don't know, man. But you know what? I never thought I'd say this. I watched a Pac-12 game the other night with Sean the Fake Farnham. Give me Bill back. Where is Bill?
Oh, give me. Oh, my gosh. Yes. Bill gets a lot of crap, but I'd rather listen to him than that Farnham dude.
Yeah,
oh, man.
He knows how to fake cry better than the young and the restless. I mean, it's a joke.
Well, don't drive the Lamborghini around too much.
Yeah. No, I don't have a Lamborghini, brother. But I will say this. I'm going to have pants on when I go outside later on.
I hope to goodness you have pants on.
Well, I had shorts on. It wasn't like I was running around buck-ass naked.
I hope to goodness. It's not like you've done that before.
Oh, Lord, I have not.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google